Welcome to Fire Team Chat, IGN's Destiny podcast. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for joining us again, Fran.
I'm back. I had so much fun. I'd come back.
Fran is back. And we have a special guest, Lauren.
Hello.
Hey, Lauren.
Lauren, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm known as Lace Up Lauren on Twitch, or you can call me Lauren. That's probably a little bit easier. I stream Destiny over on twitch.tv/lace_up_Lauren. I basically stream, like I said, Destiny almost every single day. I'm mainly a PvP streamer, but I do obviously stream the raids because that's some of the best parts about Destiny.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yep, of course. Yeah.
So right at the top of the show, we usually talk about the best drops that we got for the week. So we'll start with you, Fran, because you said you had a story.
Man, I got a story. So if you listen to last week, lots of complaints. In fact, I ruined our podcast and interrupted it and was like, what do you guys think
Fatebringer
of...
drops on the Templar.
Yeah, well, we talked about that.
I'm so sorry. I knew that. I just thought
we were talking about exotics and Fatebringer and Destiny's like, there's exotics at Atheon. Anyway, that's kind of inside baseball if you didn't listen last week. But I was talking about Galahorn and how I was almost pretty much done even caring about it. And I really wanted Fatebringer. But anyway, so I was on last night with somebody hopped on my friends list and was like, love the Fire Team chat, come back.
Cool.
And he was online. I think it's like X Clash Swaggin' something. He's on Twitter as well. That's following me. You can find him there. But anyway, so he's like, yo, I got the Gorgon chest. And I'm like, yeah, it's like 12, 15 or whatever. And we're waiting for Xur. And I'm like, well, why not? I mean, let's just go if you have it.
Hop in and try it.
So we go in and hop in there and, we grab the chest and then 3 Ascendant shards. Like, of course, I'm like, freaking A. And then I glanced down the bottom left and that yellow text and FM3 has found Galahorn. So it was my birthday too, 15 minutes into my birthday. I got Galahorn, pops up. And at first I was so cynical on just the whole thing at this point. But then I was like, yes, I was like, finally, so I was really excited to get it. I don't know that I'll be upgrading it right away because I have other motives right now, but I'm really happy to have gotten it. So Fatebringer, you're next. And thank you, Swaggin, for short. And
for the checkpoint.
And good things can happen on your birthday. So Xur is watching out as well, maybe. So
that's a really good story.
Yeah, I was really excited. Something good.
Yeah. Seeing it is your birthday, I actually went to our vending machine and got you a present. This Snickers bar
this is not
that you'll probably
placement.
never eat.
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
really?
friend.
Oh, wow, thanks, Destin.
Yeah.
This is not product placement, by the way. So.
But Snickers, feel free to sponsor the show.
Please.
Please help us. No,
so, cool. Anyway, well, we've got Lauren here who's been thoroughly bored by my story, I think.
No. I not to mention that I've gotten Galahorn 3 times, not to rub it in or anything. So
you got Fatebringer?
Yeah, I know the feel. Yes, I also have Fatebringer. I'm sorry.
Okay,
sorry
what gun don't you have that you still want, if anything?
Hawkmoon. I don't have.
Oh, good.
Ah, me too.
So.
Good. I got Hawkmoon, so I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good about that part. But anyway.
Did you get 3 Hawkmoon?
No, I've actually only got 1 Hawkmoon in my Destiny career here. So.
Yeah. So there was a lot of big stuff this week, you guys, so I kind of want to get right into it. I suppose I'm going to change the order. I told you guys we were going to go in a certain way, but we're going to start with the big news that I am super excited about. You probably saw me on Twitter, but
the volume of your voice is increasing.
Yes,
He's definitely
obviously I'm excited. You can now switch items out of your vault using the companion app.
Yeah.
This is something people have been asking for since the first week of the game.
Oh, man.
And this is huge.
Remember last week I brought that up too. I was like, if we talked about the vault and then you're like, don't get started, let's wait. And then sure enough, surprise. I feel like we should ask Lauren first, our special guest, what she thinks.
Lauren, how do you feel about it?
So unbelievably excited. The fact that you can use your vault mid-mission, mid-anything and just get something out and swap it between characters is great. I'm so excited that they finally added this in. It's blowing me away, honestly. I keep trying to mess around with it.
It's a nice surprise.
Yeah, I also can't believe how easy it is. Everything just kind of works, and I can't even imagine. Oh, what have you noticed?
Get to me last.
Okay. So for me, it's worked really, really well. I haven't encountered any problems with it yet. I love this feature. I can't imagine how they managed to sync up the companion app with the game and have it be so instantaneous. The programming involved there, I can't even fathom it. So
it was Al Gore on the internet mostly.
Yeah. Excellent job. Very happy with this update. Yeah. Al Gore.
He did it. It was all him and the internet.
I'm very happy with it. You seem to have some concerns.
Man, unanimous Look, I love it. Was really surprised by it, you know,
Yeah.
especially with how upset I've been of like, I have
I left
a
a gun
radiant
in the
shard or
tower.
a strange coin on the other character. I like, man, the time it takes and the disruption that does, whether you're in a raid or you're in PvP even, you might switch a match and be like, oh man, I forgot to bring my sniper, whatever it is. And so they fixed that. So for quick gun changes, even armor changes that you've left, I think that's great. I'm in a different situation where I'm doing full character swap because I have 2 warlocks.
Oh, yeah.
And so I need to like unload everything. And so it really has not solved, you know, I have 2 points. It has not solved sort of the speed of that, you know.
Wait, how? Because you can actually, like, let's say you log off of your one and then you sign on to another. You can go de-equip everything you want off that other guy and then equip it on your other guy in real time.
But it's slow. So
Well,
it's
it
like
takes a
click,
little longer.
manage item, click, manage item, click. And it's not visual either what's dropping in the vault. And so it's sort of, it's just not intuitive. And granted, I've only used it since last night.
Yeah.
But look, again, I'm happy. But I need to go to the vault. And so I have the whole method of like, boom, 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 switch. And then I'm like, ching, 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 cashing everything in, bring everything out. And that process takes a while. And then the second point that I would make is, okay, I love that it's in the companion app, but I challenge that. Why is it in the companion app? My guess is that was the easiest place to code,
like,
right
why
to the
not
points.
in the orbit, you mean?
Well, why isn't there just a screen to do this in the game? Like, why should you have to bring your phone out to do this, right? And so I think it's awesome that it's there. I think this was a quick fix, but please put this in the game, you know? Like, don't make this a companion app thing. There's no reason
I
to
see
make
what
me
you're
pick
saying.
up a second screen. Like, I have enough reasons to use the Destiny app, and I hope that's not the motive of this. And I really don't think it is. Again, I think the engineers, you know, coding on the web and not having to update the entire game interface is a big difference. And also, we will get into, I just personally do not think the loadouts are big enough at this point. Like, you should just have a ton of weapons in your arsenal. So I'm looking forward to whenever that may be.
That sounds
House
like
of Wolves, please.
that sounds like a bigger vault space discussion.
Vault and weapon space. It's almost like I wish I just had more weapon space because I would less, like, you don't need a vault if you just let me put more stuff on my
your character.
You know, what is really the limitation? It's not fun.
Well, you still have to
know,
swap
like-
between characters somehow.
Yeah, but meaning if I can just carry a lot more, and again, I'm in a situation where I've got 2 of the same characters, but weapons especially, like, why is it 9 weapons? Like, it's a valid question, right? Like, why isn't it 18 at this point?
Yeah.
There's so many weapons in the game.
I think they should all be on the character at all times, like representative.
That's what I was thinking. It's not
Carrying
like
it
you have
all
like
around.
30
it's
weapons.
like Skyrim and you just like fall over because you've it's not like that. So the game is fun to use a lot of different weapons. And then I have feedback that relates to this once we get into, you know, the primary weapon, you know, buffs and nerfs and whatnot.
Okay, well, let's jump right into that. Lauren, you actually had some thoughts on the weapon adjustments.
Yes.
Let's just say I played a little PvP and noticed a lot of pulse rifles.
Yep. That is obviously, I think the biggest change to everything is pulse rifles. You can actually use them now in PvP and in PvE, obviously. But that's pretty much all these past few times that I've been playing PvP. It's just been pulse rifles, Red Death, you know, Bad Juju, Oversoul. Like, it's just pulse rifle city right now in PvP.
So do you think that's going to be just like the first weekend and everybody's just trying them out? Or did you notice a trend that it's more like satisfying and it's working?
I think it's going to stick around to a certain extent, but obviously I think everyone will just pick one weapon that they like. With the Suros, that was obviously I think one of the go-to assault rifles. I think the Red Death, people are leaning to it, so it really depends if they are going to touch assault rifles again, because I know a lot of people are complaining about the assault rifle nerf again, that they changed it. So.
ARs have been nerfed to the point that they're useless.
Which really
That's a
upsets
strong
me
review.
because
Yeah.
I obviously love assault rifles. So
Yeah. Well, if you take any assault rifle, the best assault rifle in the game, up against, say, a fully maxed out Red Death, you will lose. You are guaranteed to lose.
Absolutely.
And that's a problem.
That is a problem. Okay, what do you guys, before the changes, what were your top 2 weapons? Let's go around the table real fast. Destin.
Well, I always use just Shadow Price, but I know
Auto
it's not the
rifle.
best weapon. I just got Monte Carlo, so I would have used
Auto
Monte
rifles.
Carlo or Suros. Yeah,
Okay, so
always
you-
an auto rifle.
Oh, so not necessarily Shadow Price. And then
Se-
Lauren,
secondary shotgun.
what about you, Lauren?
either the Vision or the Suros. Those were like kind of my top 2.
Okay, I was Hawkmoon or Vex. And
Oh yeah, there was
so-
a pistol phase for a while where everybody was
Yes,
using pistols.
yes.
Well, Hawkmoon's just deadly in there as well. I know
Yeah.
that you
Absolutely,
don't have
absolutely
it,
it
so
is.
You probably don't know that it's so awesome because you don't have it. And, like, no, I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, but I get killed with it, so I
yeah,
can feel
for
I can
real,
feel the
man.
pain of how strong it is.
So I'm curious to get back in there. I just didn't have enough time to see. I mostly just tried Pulse in PvE and noticed I went to the exclusion zone to pick up some glimmer, and I was just
Yeah.
tearing through the solar
With a
shields.
shotgun.
No, I was using Oversoul Edict because I just wanted to test the
Oh,
pulse.
okay.
And they were
Yeah.
just like going down fast.
Yeah.
So I did look. I think it's good to a point, but yeah,
Absolutely.
I think
Like I'm glad that they're trying to get other guns still useful, so it's not just like assault rifles or hand cannons.
Right.
Like they're trying to make all the weapons equal.
and it
as-
changes
as
the
much as
game
they
too.
can.
Like you're seeing, like you now have
Yeah.
to think about using it or adjusting, and like
Yeah.
that means that the matches that you were playing on Thursday are not this. Or sorry, this went out Tuesday. I was traveling on Monday. Have changed.
So you guys seem pretty positive. Let me ask this though: do you think PvP is now unbalanced or broken, and it needs to be adjusted again? Like I feel like everything's leaning toward pulse rifles. It's not an even playing field again, and they constantly talk about how they want it to be an even playing field where there's no one weapon answer. And right
Right.
now, it's kind of Red Death.
Right.
I haven't got a chance to get in there yet. So Lauren, you're the expert
For
here.
me, like I know there was a huge phase with hand cannons, and that was kind of bothering me. So I'm glad that they messed with the range on hand cannons. I think that was definitely needed. So I'm really happy that they kind of fixed the hand cannons because those were really, really popular. That's like Thorn, Hawkmoon. That's what I was seeing the most in PvP. And now it's pulse rifles, and I feel like everyone's just kind of leaving assault rifles behind. So I really, really, really do not like that they changed assault rifles. I think
Yeah.
they should have just left them alone.
But
And-
Agree.
to make sure we're clear on why that is, though, are you upset because it was like your favorite blanket sort of thing, or is it like you just don't like using the pulse, or are you just mad that everybody's
I'm actually
using
really
them?
enjoying like using a different weapon. I think that's the nice thing is being able to use different weapons, so you're not just stuck with using the Suros, every single day. But to the point where it gets where you don't want to use assault rifles at all, and then I'm just sticking with either like the Red Death or whatever, then I think you're just getting into the same routine again of just using one weapon or one type of weapon.
And that's their whole design philosophy, to not
Right.
have a one weapon answer. But yet again, they're running into that problem where the answer is Red Death.
Right.
The answer is Gallahorn.
Potentially, I don't know. I feel like part of it's a phase because, fusions have just for a long time just been so deadly. Now it is kind of a one-shot thing, but man,
Well, they changed the cone of that also.
yeah,
Right.
and we can talk about that. But meaning, like, you had the option to just tear it up with a fusion. A lot of people chose not to do that. They stuck with shotguns, or
Yeah.
they stuck with their hand cannon. So I feel like you do kind of get into like, this is what I like the feel of. I think there will be some settling in. Like, honestly, I haven't played
Absolutely. Yeah.
PvP since the adjustment. I just
Yeah.
just got back from a trip last night from LA, and waited
Mr.
for
Fancy.
Zerg and got my Gallahorn and everything. But yeah, I do feel like first thing I'm gonna go in and use Pulse. I'm gonna use it up and down and try
Absolutely.
out a couple of them that I've been waiting to try. But then I think you got to get used to it, and I want to compare it with like Vex and some other stuff. So I don't know.
All right, so we need to move on to the next segment, and I'm also what?
Are we still gonna talk about buffs and nerfs and whatnot?
No, we're moving on
Then
to
let's-
another leak.
If I could just finish real fast,
Okay,
because I
go
know we're
ahead.
short on time, and
Yeah.
he's very on schedule this one. Is just so I love that I read through the detailed report and all the percentages of what guns people are using, and shotguns we didn't talk about, by the way. So I think
100%
Yeah.
buff.
Yeah.
They tear
for
everything
PvE,
apart.
In PvE, it's great.
yes.
2x.
in PvE.
So
Yeah.
boom, everything's twice as powerful up close, which is actually
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Use it for
Nobody
farming.
was using them.
Yeah.
Nobody's using it. So I do
Yeah.
think it's smart. Like they just went all in. It's a big
Yeah.
bet and say, let's just get
Yes.
people trying them out. I agree. They just couldn't match fusions, so why would you use a shotgun? It
Yeah.
just never felt like Destiny also in PvEs. You just do not want to be close to a lot of these enemies. They're just brutal up close.
Yeah.
So I'm
Right.
curious to see how that pans out.
Yeah. I mean, I was a big person within PvP. I would use shotguns more than fusion rifles because
Invective.
to take people off flags, like just sneaking up on people with shotguns,
Yeah.
that was really nice. I know that they, I think, messed with the range
Yeah.
of shotguns for PvP. So it's definitely, since I'm so used to the range of like my Dead Orbit shotgun has the rangefinder perk. So
Hide
when you
and
aim down
seek.
sights.
Oh, nice.
That one.
And now I'm just kind of getting used to not being so far away and using my shotgun. So it's a little bit of adjustment for in PvP. I know in PvE they're great to use now. Like they're so much better for PvE.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. Hide and seek, I think, is the one you're mentioning. From
Yes,
Dead
yep,
Orbit,
yep.
which is really cool, and it has depending on the role, some good perks. But then also Universal Remote, which you're selling, has that distance perk.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm curious. I'd say try it out. Like, if you've got the coins, like, even if you hate using it.
They are great for
primary.
farming Glimmer.
Yeah. But what I really wanted to comment on very fast was what's bothering me about everything from the vault to the weapons is that you read through and they're like, here's what hand cannons are for. Here's what pulse rifles are for, this mid-range burst. Then auto rifles are really for like the chainsaw effect of keeping someone at bay. And awesome. So guess what you got to do to switch between those attributes as you go from enemy to enemy. You press start, you press into your menu, and then you switch your weapon. They're describing for me almost like what I would use my specials for. So I really do think there's a fundamental issue with the primary weaponry that, I don't know, man. I think they need a way to quick switch that stuff.
Like double tap up?
Yeah. Like,
we've seen this a lot, actually, in emails and stuff people have sent in. Stuff like suggestions like that on how to improve it.
It's like, why not? I mean, this is like, it's just fundamental shooter stuff. And honestly, I feel like it's missing. I feel like all the work they're doing is actually, they're fighting against themselves with that design. So I think that's half the reason is really what I'm getting at. Well, I know he's using Pulse because it's a pain to switch. Why would I try it? I'm just not going to bother with it. And as you get into like enemies too with their, their shields, like, so I think it's a huge problem that they really need to address if they want to take advantage of this awesome arsenal that they have. Because I really do think the guns, I mean, Bungie's just awesome at that. Each gun is so special. And there's these roadblocks to use them.
Yeah. So. It sounds like this is a conversation topic we're going to have to come back to later. I know by no means wanted to stop because it's great. But we need to move on to another big leak that happened this week. And that was the new social area that we're going to be getting in Destiny on the Reef.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I believe Mega Man EXE was the person who did some digging into the code. And this Reef area was discovered. And...
that was part of the game, Destin. That's where that super long cutscene is. If you ever got that.
And nothing else.
You said it was discovered. I was just.
How do you guys feel about a new social area? And listener Faust sent in the question: what do you think is going to be there, and what do you want to be there?
That's Lauren to start, I said.
Lauren.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited. Obviously, I think this game with the tower, having like kind of a second tower would be really great because it'll add more social elements to the game, which I think this game really, really needs because I think it kind of aspires to be kind of like an MMO. So I'm glad that they're adding something else in. The possibilities, I think, are endless to what they will add in, and I'm really, really excited to see what they'll add in for sure.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Look, I don't know. Like, I'm not actually even ready for another tower, but I think that's really exciting. I'm tired of the current one, but there's been these doors as well that we've all speculated are going to like fly open, back by the speaker. There's that area, and I'm like, oh, what is back there? It's like this awesome area that we're going to see. I thought that would come first before you'd see something out at the Reef. I actually thought maybe that was where, we might end up seeing a raid soon, but I think House of Wolves is going to be all on Earth, right? But
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see still. Like the Reef, I love that visit there and the feel of it, just that like royal glowing purple, atmospheric stuff. And when you come out of that cutscene, they put you in that environment. Really cool looking. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the beauty of Destiny right now. It has, like, you could put a tower in all of those locations and build a world that feels like that, because we're on Earth right now with the current tower. So you can imagine that, the tower, you could have one for any location. So I think it's really smart in the long run for sure.
For me, I just want to see more things to do in the tower besides, get new guns or whatever. Like maybe this is the place where we're going to be able to upgrade our legendaries. Or sure. Like no, what would be wrong with having mini games up there?
Like Sparrow Racing or something.
I think of
yes, awesome. People have talked about wanting Sparrow Racing for a long time.
You know what? The perfect model for this is Legend of Zelda, man. Yeah. Like you go play those mini games with some of your Glimmer, whatever it is, like put gambling in there and like
Absolutely.
I think that could be a lot of fun, actually, because there's just times you're waiting for people in the tower, and it'd be cool to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope they have
yourself some spin metal or
that would be good. Resources would be great. Really excited to see more about it. I was looking up while we were discussing. It was Mega Man EXE who discovered the Reef social space. Yeah. And we actually get a glimpse at it in one of the earlier trailers where somebody's just like in a purple area walking sideways, like side strafing along. And it definitely looks like a unique social space. And I think it looks really cool. It's a little bit cooler than Earth. Like Earth is beautiful. This is more like mysterious.
That's cool. I do think if they're going to spend time on stuff, though, we've got enough things that need to be fixed and tweaked. So part of it for me hopes this is really just buried in the code and like I don't know. I guess my point is I don't need to see another tower right now. I need to see more emblems, and I also need to see more shaders.
Shaders,
apparently
yes.
there's a lot out there that like the Dead Orbit shader and some other ones that are like so hard to get. But actually there's a ton of like the like Starfire Protocol and some other ones. I'm a Warlock. Like the shaders don't do anything, and it's like being unique in the game is really powerful. Like that really makes you like I put stuff on for raids, when I can wear a certain armband.
You dress up.
I would do my hair different if I could, for sure. So I think that's really important in a game like this. You have that personality, and it's like a lot of what you've worked for is to look that way. Like, and when they killed like Vault of Glass gear basically because it's not a new level,
not 32.
Man, I loved like the Warlock Heathen's Vengeance.
Yes, the helmet.
He's in Lord of was something he's in. But man, that's such a cool helmet. And I can't wear it, I got to wear the weird cockroach crow-wind devil horns thing. It's kind of cool at first, but I'm like, geez, like I don't want to look like
it's tiring after a while.
Yeah, and everybody looks that way. So sorry, you just introduce the France, like Fran rants, because apparently I do that on every episode. I'm sorry. Yeah,
on everything.
I'm very passionate about.
Well, you were talking a bit about some improvements you'd like to see, and that's a good segue into our final segment. Deej posted in the Bungie forums asking for players to list their 3 wishes for Destiny. So I thought we would all kind of take a minute, think about it, and kind of come up with 3 things we would like to see. Lauren, are you ready with 3?
I think I could list more than 3, but definitely I think the number one thing that people ask for is more vault space. It's kind of obvious. Everyone wants more vault space. I have way too many weapons that I know what to deal with. Like sometimes I don't even know where to put them. So more vault space would be great. I think that's probably the most asked from anything, from people on the forums and stuff like that. So more vault space would be great. Absolutely great.
Do you have any others?
One.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. If we need time too, we could each kind of go one and then.
Yeah. Okay, Fran.
Because if we only get through, I'm going to agree with that one, so we'll make that quick, right? It's like, that's absolutely like one of the top ones at the list. Like I'm tired of having to think about starting a 3rd character just so I can hold weapons. It's absurd.
Store stuff.
Yeah. And that's why, again, I think they need to fix the ease of using the vault. So absolutely, more vault space, probably at the top of my list because it's also not a hard fix. I'm not asking for a lot.
Definitely on my list also. Do you have another one that you want to discuss?
Oh, I'll get there, but...
Okay, well, so I thought about this 2 ways. I thought Destiny 1, they're kind of limited in the framework that they've established with the game. So there's not grandiose improvements that they can make to this world. They can make small things, but I don't know what they're capable of doing big scale. So for Destiny 2... my biggest point of feedback.
Breaking the system here with the wishes for this game.
No, it's just 3 wishes for Destiny as a franchise, not Destiny 1.
You found a little verbal
loophole. A verbal loophole. Well, anyway, mine was just kind of for the overall story. We all kind of can agree that the story in Destiny 1 was weak. And for me, I would really like to see them focus in on it for Destiny 2. They have something with Destiny 1, but with Destiny 2, they have the opportunity to introduce individual class-specific storylines, quests and side quests, or at least a better system for quests and side quests. And I'd really like to see that fleshed out and for them to craft a really, really good story. They just got the writer from... I don't want to say the wrong game, but they just got a really renowned writer. I want to say from Guild Wars. I'm going to look it up after somebody else goes. But that gets me really excited for what's going to happen with Destiny 2.
All right.
That was one of my top ones. Focus back on story.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to throw in, we already discussed it, is because I thought about it a lot, is just the quick weapon switching. They just got to fix that primary, special, and heavy shouldn't mean that that's how you switch weapons, right? Meaning you have all these weapons, give me much better weapon switching. And we also got to figure out like grouping of elemental damage. It's just such a mess, like trying to quickly figure this stuff out. So I'd love to see, and I think it's crucial to the game. That's the way I'm approaching my wishes, right? Like Vault immediately saves me time, makes the game more fun. Weapon switching as well. Like the fact that I can go from a hand cannon to a pulse rifle in the middle of a boss battle, whatever, or a raid battle. That's huge for me. So I think that's crucial.
I was right. It was Guild Wars 2.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Lauren?
Get your facts straight.
I would say my next thing would be better rewards for PvP. And the way that they reward, I guess, players in PvP. Because you can pretty much lose a game. You can end up with someone who has a .4 KD and get an exotic out of PvP. And that is the most frustrating thing for me if you're winning or at the top of the leaderboards and you get absolutely nothing for it. So I think the way that they do rewards in PvP to make people want to play PvP and get something from it from playing would be much, much better than what they're doing now.
Totally agree. That's a really frustrating thing for the community to see the worst AFK player get the Gallahorn or something. It's not really fair.
Yeah, and I don't think there's that. I think some of that's okay. It's just there's nothing in place to reward the players who are good.
Right.
I do think it's cool for someone to get a random drop very randomly, but then there's nothing in between. So it's like if you did awesome, you're like, well, why did I get like green engram?
You just have no motivation to either win a game or to do good.
For sure. Yeah, I think that'd be huge.
Fran, do you have another one?
Yeah, I mean, look, my third one. I don't know how to frame it.
This is your second one, isn't it?
No, the second one was weapon switching.
Oh, okay. Got it.
The third one is absolutely figuring out the Vault of Glass weapons and armor upgrade stuff.
Yes.
And so, I at first I wanted to say, give me very hard Vault of Glass and whatever. Maybe you got to redrop everything. Even I don't know the exclusive stuff. But I guess at the crux of it, I want to see.
I get it.
I know. Yeah. No pun there. I want to see the ability that if I have Fatebringer, I have Vex. Well, Vex is already fine, but the armor especially too. Like I want to wear that stuff. I want to use it. Let me re-roll that stuff. Whatever it is, figure it out. That would be huge. Yeah. Immediate improvement to the diversity of, the game.
I was going to say something in the same vein, so that'll be my number 2. I also have one last one, but just some way to upgrade raid weapons specifically. That would be really nice. That's pretty high on my list for Destiny 1.
Could you use an example? I don't know what you mean. You mean
Vision
Vault
of Confluence,
Vault of Glass?
Like the 331
You said
kind
raid
of
weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, raid weapons in general, because when House of Wolves comes out, our weapons from Crota are also going to, not be as desirable. We're assuming they'll be replaced.
Yeah.
Or at least be second tier.
Yeah. They said they've thought of a way already to do that. But remains to be seen.
I can't wait to see it. Very excited. But my last entry is kind of what Lauren was discussing, or at least in the same vein, improvements to PvP. And by improvements, I mean sparrow racing, like you mentioned, or capture the flag. Where's capture the flag?
That would be very fun.
Bungie was like one of the people that made that mode amazing.
I mean, it's almost that.
Yeah, control, run and stand in a spot.
Well, you're right. Well, what's the one that appears occasionally? Starts with an R.
Salvage?
Oh no, salvage. Yeah, that's it's still not the same. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I would really like capture the flag, or just like Oddball was something else they created.
I mean, dude, you know it's on the list. And it's a matter of when, they want to roll that stuff out.
The multiplayer is really fun. I'd like to see a little bit more of the wackiness.
Yeah. Cool. I like that you're not counting that. I thought we were like exclusively choosing 3 things. Like the Vault was 1, and your Destiny Stories 2, and now there's this, but you got another thing.
Yeah. Well, I think we all have a lot of suggestions we can make.
Yes, absolutely.
I think I made a list of them at one time.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Lauren, did you have any more?
We already kind of touched on it, just like the vanity armor options, being able to look differently once you hit 32, because I think once everyone starts hitting 32 on their Warlock or their Hunter, that they kind of all start looking the same, except for like a few different shaders, but the armor overall looks just all the same.
Character individuality is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I would love to see exotic shaders, like Glow, who really made me think about like light particle effects. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could either like tweak your shader or whatever? There's an exotic shader that like has particle like flare. Like your wrist. Your
armband has flames.
What do they call that part of the
Warlock Bond?
Yeah, Warlock Bond. Yeah.
Stuff like that is really cool additions. I mean, granted, you don't want everybody like sparkling, with rainbows trailing behind you, but actually, like that's where you get into like some really interesting stuff. So. That'd be really awesome.
That's cool. Well, we're coming about to the end of the podcast, so yeah, Frank.
I know that we're like tight on time, but I was curious, since we have Lauren's attention, like, and you're like a PvP, that's really your thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I'll stream both, but mainly I really do love PvP.
So if you recommend, like, if people don't play a ton of PvP and they think about it, or maybe it's just they're just getting into it, like, do you have sort of a quick like rundown of like, okay, here's what you should be doing, here are the things to watch out for?
The most important thing for anything like that is just map awareness, where your teammates are spawning, where the other people are spawning. Just look at your radar as much as possible. I know it can be frustrating, especially like getting into PvP for the first time, but just map awareness is a huge thing, I think, for any type of PvP. So I would say map awareness is definitely the biggest tip.
Any tips for that? Like, do you use landmarks? Like, how do you be aware of a map?
I guess like especially if you're playing with like other friends, like getting the same call outs down can be helpful. But if you're playing solo, then just depending if you're doing like capturing like the flags on B or something like that, just know that it's a highly populated area on B, obviously, or where different spawns are on the map.
And that communication will be really important when their Inferno's coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
No radar.
No radar whatsoever.
You're gonna need to communicate.
You're gonna have to use that fire team chat option.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like the show. Anyway, thank you, Lauren, for joining us.
Yes, of course.
Really appreciate you coming on the show. Where can people find your stuff?
You can find me on twitch.tv/laced_up_Lauren or twitter.com/lacedUpLauren.
Cool.
Those are the main two places that I go.
Fran, what about you?
At Fred Mirabella on Twitter. It's the easiest way to find me. And FM3 on PlayStation 4 if you want to play.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, at Destin Legary and in random videos on IGN all the time.
Like this.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for listening. And until next time, that has been this episode of Fire Chat. Fire Team Chat. I still have no idea how to outro the show.
How about Guardians out? Yeah, we'll work on that.
Guardians out.